Now, when I was in high school, I was quite the fat kid. I was quite ugly. I was not masculine. I was very feminine, and I was very disorganized. And this had residual effects throughout my entire life. Now, after I started organizing my life and building my life, I became a transition man. I became orderly. I became masculine. I became macho in some sense. I kind of wrote the story of my life out in journaling, and that's what it was. And the point of this video is to introduce you to something that potentially will save your life, definitely make it better, show you exactly how to do it, and ultimately make you more organized, make your life more organized. Now, first, we need to answer the question of why is this so important? Why is journaling important? Well, the answer to that is that you don't have, if you don't write anything down, you don't have, your brain is not a reliable source of memory all the time, right? You can remember some stuff, but you need a place where you can write down these thoughts. And that's what the importance of a journal is. It's not only a brain dump where you can put down smart thoughts that you have, but it's also a way to keep track of your goals and a way to keep track of your vision for the future. It's almost a second brain in some sense. And that's why it's so important, is that you don't need to rely on your brain to do all the legwork for remembering what your vision for life is, what your mission for life is, and what your goals are, or crazy ideas that you have, or book summaries, or scripts for work. And you know what's funny about this? I'm reading this off of an outline in my journal right now. And that's why these videos go so well, is because I use my journal for everything. It helps me. It's my second brain in some sense, like I said. Now let's get exactly how to actually set this thing up. So when you get a journal, and that's the first step, obviously, is to get a journal. So if you haven't got a journal yet, then you should probably just save this video for later. Get a journal first, and then take the first 4 pages of that journal. And I want you to write down your vision for the future. What it is, what is your ultimate goal for the future? What does your dream life look like? Write that down. Then I want you to write down your mission statement, which is going to be who you're going to help and how you're going to help them. What's your mission? What's your purpose in life? Write that down. First 4 pages. And then I want you to write down your goals. What are your long-term goals? What are your medium-term goals? What are your 12-week goals? What are your milestones to get to those 12-week goals? And then what is your weekly goals? What is your MVPs to get to those weekly goals? So write down all those goals that I just said, and if you can't remember all of them, then go back into the video. You can hear it. Just rewind the video, and you'll see that once you write all this stuff down, you've kind of set yourself up, set yourself a foundation for every single morning to go in there and see what your goals are, see what your vision for the future is, and see why you're living your life. Who are you serving? So after this, you're going to actually get into the meat of the journal almost. Your first part of your journal is where you're going to want to divide up this meat. Like I said, you're going to want to divide this meat up into a couple different sections. So the first section is going to be your entries. This is going to be, like I said in the beginning of this video, the brain dump section. You're going to just put down all your thoughts on this entry section. Whenever you feel like you want to write something down in your journal, that's where you're going to write it. Now the second one is going to be what I like to call weekly analysis and evening analysis. So what you're going to do is you're going to do this thing in the morning. It's called mental calibration. And you're going to go through your journal. You're going to read your vision, read your mission, read your goals. And then you're going to set an MVP for the day. 3 MVPs that are going to get you closer to all of these goals. What are 3 things you can do today to get you closer to your ultimate goals? Once you do that, this analysis section is going to be where you go in the evening of the day. Every single day you're going to go in the evening, you're going to go into your journal, and you're going to write down, first off, did you follow the plan of the today? Second off, are there any to-dos that you need to carry over? Third, are there any to-dos that you need to remove? Fourth, are there any to-dos that you need to add? Fifth, are there any epiphanies from the day or significant wisdom that you want to carry on to the next day, or just know in general? And the final thing is, what is the plan for tomorrow? So you can get a kind of idea of what you want to do tomorrow. So that's your evening analysis. Now your weekly analysis is going to be somewhat similar. It's going to be, did you follow and complete the weekly goals? If not, why did you not? Is there any to-dos that you need to carry over from this week until next? Any to-dos that you need to remove? Any to-dos you need to add? And then you need to do the same thing. What's the biggest epiphany of the week? And then lastly, what's the plan for the next week? What are my weekly goals next week going to look like? So that's your evening analysis and your weekly analysis, right? So once you get this done, you already have the entries, and then you have the analysis, right? Your third section is going to be work. Whatever it is you do for work. If it's videos, it's going to be scripts, it's going to be book drafts, it's going to be ideas for videos. Whatever work is, that's where you're going to put your work section. That's your third section. Your fourth section is going to be your summaries and your notes and your scripture study. So when you read a book or when you read scripture, the Bible, what is it that you want to learn from that, right? What is it? What are the big ideas from that? Whatever they are, you need to go in and you need to write those things down in a one-page summary of whatever the biggest ideas from that book or from that scripture study time is. And the very back of the journal is where you're going to have your ultimate lessons from the year. So the idea with this is that when you flip all the way back and you go back to your journals, the last thing you want to see is what are the biggest lessons. The way you want to close out your journal every single year is that you want to have on the back of what your biggest lessons were and significant quotes that you want. Now the last question I want to answer is, how do we stay consistent in all of this? Well, like I said, if you've set your journal up exactly like I've told you in this video, it's not going to be very hard to stay consistent. Every single morning, go in there, figure out what 3 MVPs that you're going to do for your long-term, medium-term, 12-week goals to get closer to them. Every evening, do your evening analysis and figure out what you can do better for tomorrow. Do that every single day, and you'll be writing in your journal. You have all these thoughts in your brain. The way to stay consistent is just to write down your thoughts, even if it's nonsense. A lot of people think that their journals are going to be these artifacts that in 100 years or 200 years, people are going to come back and be like, oh, look at this. This is interesting. Oh, he had this thing going on with his girlfriend. Oh, he put his hands on his girlfriend? That's bad. They're going to judge you, right? But no one's going to read this. That's a fantasy in your head. So don't act like a philosopher in this. Don't act like you're smarter than you are. Just write down your thoughts. That's all you got to do. Now, going back through this, you need to understand that the reason it's important to journal is that you want to be organized in your life. You want to get the to-dos done that you want to get done. How you set it up is remember, the first part is going to be your goals. It's going to be your mission and your vision. The meat of it is going to be the entries. It's going to be the summaries. It's going to be work. And the last part is going to be the biggest lessons. And finally, the way to stay consistent is just to write down your thoughts, even if they're dumb. If you do all these things, you'll have a second brain of some sense. You'll be organized in your life, and you'll make people happy instead of disappointing people by being late, being disorganized. I hope this video was good, that it was beautiful, and that it was true. And until next time, see you guys.